A lot of people will say, it's cost prohibitive to do a carnivore diet. Meat is too expensive. Have you paid attention to that? Is it significantly more expensive than your whole food plant-based diet or your other diet?
I think it's the opposite. I would say it's the opposite. I think you pay a lot of money for fruits and vegetables. I think that's a lot of money compared to the meats. And I think I'm fuller faster eating the carnivore lifestyle than more of the fruits and vegetables and the whole foods and stuff like that. Because, I was doing grains. I would buy like Ezekiel bread, which is expensive. Or you're doing lentils and stuff that's expensive. Nuts are very expensive. So to me, I think our budget, I was like, that's not the case in our world.
Yeah, I used to buy that. I mean, when I was back in the days, I would do the Ezekiel bread, and you get a big old thing of cashews or something like that. Those things are damn expensive. I mean, it's like $20 for a pound of cashews or something like that. I can't remember what it is now, but I mean, it clearly is. If you try to eat healthy, if you try to eat like good food not eat the pure junk food, the processed packaged food, which is so cheap, and that's one of the problems. We have so many people. They can't afford it, and they end up eating that stuff because it's cheap calories and it tastes good, and that's what they can afford, unfortunately. Whereas if you were just to say, hey, I'm going to go down to, buy some ground beef,
right.
In some places you can still pick it up for, $3-4 a pound. That for many people is affordable, and it's far more nutritious. My gosh, it's so much more nutritious.
Which is probably why I'm eating twice a day versus 6 times a day.
Yeah.
Because when I was eating, then you were like, okay, what's next? I'm hungry. I think I was always hungrier. I'm not anymore. Like I can tell that I'm more satisfied.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sitting in here, I've got, a couple steaks for breakfast, and then I'll eat dinner, and I'm not super hungry, but I'll eat it in because I'm trying to maintain my weight. But I mean, if I didn't, then I would lose weight pretty clearly, just because my appetite is, it's just well satisfied with just some meat. And then, it can be, relative to what I used to eat, I could put away 10,000 calories a day, and that gets expensive. I can tell you. I mean, I could put down some food, and I still can if I need to. But what, as far as you said, I think you said your husband was on board with this. Is anybody, have you been, so of the clients you're dealing with, how many of them have you sort of steered towards animal-based carnivore? Is that something that comes up? Do you try to get people to do that?
Yeah, definitely some of my ladies with hormonal issues. And then, I've had quite a few people who've just done nutrition consults with me, like on TikTok and stuff like that. And they have gut problems, and I just share my experience. And then I say, this is what I would encourage you to try. I mean, it's going to cost you a week or two. Just give it a try, see how you feel, observe, how's your sleep and how's your brain and, all of that. How's your, ability to, use the bathroom, and how's your stomach feeling? And so probably, I would say I've probably worked with over 50 people now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
On that. And I don't think that there's been anybody who's had negative results. And in fact, a lot of times it then becomes a family lifestyle. So I have my clients that just left before I got on this call, her husband is like, I'm so excited that we're doing this, and I can't wait to get back. It's been Christmas. Let's get back on this. And she was like, he has just felt so much better improving his lifestyle. And I don't even see him. It's just that she's brought some of these suggestions home.
Yeah, it's great that we have so many people that are out there that, because you obviously you experience in your own life, and you want to share it with other people. So that's how this will have to grow, because I don't think at any time the U.S. Surgeon General is going to stand up and tell everybody to eat more beef. I just don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. And so we're going to have to just do it ourselves at a grassroots level, and just look at the actual results that are occurring, because it's everyone in this audience and the thousands of people that watch this, they see what the results are, and they know results speak. At the end of the day, you can show me 50 different studies, but if I don't get results, then who are you kidding? It's it's kind of like things. I'm very skeptical of a lot of the research out there for various reasons. I think there's a lot of conflict of interest, and there's some corruption, and there's some shady things going on in the background, and it's just so I just go with what results we're seeing on the ground. I think that's maybe it's a jaded way to look at things. But that's what I've been kind of the conclusion I've reached. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Have you had any negatives to this diet? I mean, because some people, will say, this or that, or, I don't know. I mean, any negative issues?
Probably the only thing, I mean, obviously I had to learn how to cook meat. It's good my husband likes to do it, but there are things like, when he would be out of town or whatever, I was like, okay, I need to learn how to cook a steak and do all this. I really felt like I had to grieve my old meals and my old lifestyle. I think that was the most challenging thing for me. And again, 2019 is when I did that protocol that kind of kick-started it. But in my mind, I thought, well, after I do this protocol, I'm going to go back to my lifestyle that I had before. And that didn't seem to work out. And then I believe that it was this realization that this is what works best. And then as I started I remember finally making a decision like, okay, I'm going to just not do any vegetables this month. And then it was, 6 months later, and I could tell I felt better that, okay, now I'm going to minimize some of my fruits. I'm not going to do as much fruit, or it's just going to be something like if I want to have an orange or something, I'm just going to have it after I eat, like during the day, like that'll be like my dessert. So that was probably the hardest thing for me. I just felt like I had to grieve my old lifestyle. It was a lot of years of eating like that. And it becomes autopilot. Like I get up, I make a smoothie. I get up, I have, these foods, and this is what I'm eating, and this is what I'm food prepping. And all of a sudden it was like, okay, this is it. Right. And so how do I make this interesting? And I was somebody that could eat the same thing all the time. I didn't really need a lot of variety, but this was like, this is really low variety. Like in my mind, I really had to lay everything on the table and just grieve it. And then really realize too, I remember saying this to a client. I said, if you think back 100 years ago, people did not have the cornucopia of choices that we have now when we walk into the grocery store. And so we feel like we're so bored with our food, but it's just because we have had access to all these things where 100 years ago, you had whatever was in the storehouse for the winter, and that's what you cooked, or, somebody was going out and, shooting the food for dinner. And so when I sort of changed my mindset and looked at it like, this is fuel for my body, I feel better on this. Let's grieve the vegetables and all that, and be able to transition into this is just a new way of eating, just like I had to grieve the standard American diet. And I think that is really what helped me. So the only negative was me being able to let go.